Hello students, welcome back to accountancy classes of Sri Mahavir International School. In last video we have completed all the accounting concepts, and in this video we are going to discuss the second part of accounting principles, that is accounting conventions. First of all, know the meaning of accounting conventions. That accounting conventions are just made by accountants by their personal agreement. These don't have any legal existence. Accounting conventions may be defined as a custom or generally accepted practice which is adopted either by general agreement or common consent among accountants. Means you can say that accounting concepts that were legal concepts, but accounting conventions don't have any legal existence. These are just made by accountants by their common consent, by their agreement. So as I am showing you here the difference between accounting concepts and accounting conventions. Legal position, the first basis of distinction is legal position, that accounting concepts have legal acceptance. As I told you that these are made by experienced person and every business has to follow these. These have legal acceptance, but accounting conventions are guidelines based upon custom or uses or general agreement. These are not same for every business. These are different for every business because these are just made by accountants of the business. Second point of distinction is recording versus financial statements. Accounts concepts are the basic assumptions on the basis of which transactions are recorded, accounts are maintained. But accounting conventions are followed in preparing the profit and loss account and balance sheet that we will discuss later on. These are some accounts, these are final accounts of a business, profit and loss account and balance sheet. So accounting conventions are followed in preparing profit and loss account and balance sheet, while accounting concepts are basic assumptions on the basis of which transactions are recorded and accounts are maintained. Means in simple way you can say that accounts concepts are followed in the starting of the business, but accounting conventions are followed at the ending of the business. Ending of the business means ending of the year when you prepare the accounts. At that time accounting conventions are followed. Point number third of distinction is here significance. These are the uniform set of rules usually followed in recording the transactions. As we studied about this, that accounting concepts are uniform set of rules. There are some set of rules that have to followed by every business transactions, but conventions are not so important as accounting concepts. These are not so important. These are based on just personal agreement of accountant. There is no role of personal judgment or individual bias in following the accounting concepts, but personal judgment may play a crucial role in the adoption of accounting conventions. How? Suppose that, as I told you, that accounting conventions are made by accountants. So there are 2 or 3 persons who are doing this agreement, so they may have different ideas, they may have different rules. So that may be personal judgment, that may be personal bias in accounting conventions, but in concepts there is no rule of personal judgment. There is uniform adoption of accounting concepts in different enterprises. Uniform adoption means fixed. It is regularity of concepts. But in conventions, there is no uniformity in adoption of accounting conventions in various enterprises. There may be different things, there may be different points for everything. So in simple words, in simple language, you can understand the difference between concepts and conventions, that concepts have legal existence and every business has to follow these because these are just made by some experienced person, and these are compulsory for every business. These have uniform set of rules, but accounting conventions are just made by common consent between accountants, or these are not so important. They don't have any legal existence. Every business may have different accounting conventions. These are the points. Okay. So following are the main accounting conventions. In this chapter, just we will discuss only 3 conventions. These are convention of full disclosure, convention of materiality and convention of conservatism, that is prudence. So first point that we are going to discuss here, convention of full disclosure. What is the meaning of full disclosure? That every information of the business should be disclosed. Disclosed means you have to show to the users. You don't have to hide any information of the business. So this convention requires that all significant information relating to the economic affairs of the enterprise should be completely disclosed. All significant information, only significant. If you think that this information is not relevant, this is not for any use, so you should not show that. But significant informations related to economic affairs of the enterprise should be completely disclosed. In other words, there should be a sufficient disclosure of information which is of material interest. Material interest means that is important to the users of the financial statements, such as proprietors, present and potential creditors, investors and others. Proprietors, who are the proprietors? That are owners of the business. Present and potential creditors, present creditors from whom you are already purchasing the goods, and potential creditors that may be in future. Investors who are investing in your business, or other persons like banks, government, whatever. So these are some users from whom you should not hide any information. You should disclose every information of the business. The principle is so important that the Companies Act makes ample provisions for the disclosure of essential information in the financial statement of company. So this is the convention of full disclosure, in that a business don't have any right to hide any significant information from their users. Let's discuss about the second conventions. The second convention that we are going to discuss here, it is convention of materiality. What is the meaning of material or immaterial here? Material means that is important for the business, or immaterial means that is not important. So materiality concept, this convention is an exception to the convention of full disclosure. Exception means in full disclosure we studied that we have to show every relevant information to the users. But this is an exception that we can hide some information. Which information can we hide? That are immaterial for the business. According to this concept, items having an insignificant effect or being irrelevant to the user need not to be disclosed. Means that are not important, that are not relevant, that you should not be disclosed. These unimportant items are either left out or merged with other items, otherwise accounting statements will be unnecessarily overburdened. Suppose that if you are showing every little item of the business, if you are showing every little transaction of the business to your user, then your accounts, your final accounts will be unnecessarily overburdened and nobody can understand the relevant information. Nobody can understand the relevant information. Just simply you can understand this example with help of your own study also. Suppose that you have given a question in exam, and in that exam, in that question, you have to tell only the profits of any point. Only the profits of any point. But with the profits, if you are showing the objectives also, the limitations also, or some other points, just it is said to be show only profits of that point, but you are showing limitations, objectives, this type of items. So what will be there? There will not be any conclusion, or there will not be any relevant information of that answer. Even the examiner cannot find proper answer of that question. So in the same way, in a business, only the information that are relevant, that are significant for the user should be disclosed, or that are not important, that can be merged into other items. Otherwise, your statements will be unnecessarily overburdened and will be difficult to understand. Okay, so this is your materiality concept. Conventions. And the last convention is convention of conservatism or prudence. Conservatism or prudence, what is the meaning of this? This is very important convention. This will be useful for your further or for your 12th class also. Actually, there are some many accounts where this conservatism convention is followed. So try to understand this in proper way. According to this convention, all anticipated losses should be recorded in the books of accounts. Anticipated means future losses. If you know that this loss is going to be in the future, so you should be recorded in the present. You should be recorded in current year. But all anticipated or unrealized gains should be ignored. But if you know that this gain is to be realized in the future, so you should not record that gain. The point is here that you should record all the future losses, but you should not record all the future gains. What is the meaning? Why this is so? Because of playing safe. Because now you have shown the losses and you did not show the profit. So in future you can hire your profits. Because losses you have already recorded, but profits you did not record. So in future you have to show only the profits. So from this you can show your profits higher. In other words, conservatism is the policy of playing safe. Provision is made for all known liabilities and losses even though the amount cannot be determined with certainty. What is the meaning of provision? Let me clear this point also. Likewise, when there are different alternatives for recording a transaction, the one having least favorable immediate effect on profit or capital should be adopted. Yes, so I was clearing about the meaning of provision. Provision, let's see, just I'm telling example. As I told you about depreciation, you know that depreciation is a fixed loss, that it will be in future. You know about it. You know that every year we have to charge depreciation on our fixed asset. This is a fixed loss, but you don't know that what will be the price of losses, what will be the amount of losses, but you know that our loss is fixed. So in present you will make provision for that loss. So in the future, whenever you will get that loss, you can get amount from this provision. It is a kind of reserving money. It is a kind of reserving money. Suppose that I am giving you an example of this in your daily routine life. Suppose that if there is a marriage function at your home, means like today, at current it is the month of July, and you know that in November there is a marriage function at your home. So you know that there will be a lot of expense in that marriage function. You know about your future that there is a lot of expense in that marriage function, but actually you don't know that what will be the amount of expense. Means you know about the loss, but you don't know the amount of loss. So for that marriage function, you are just reserving money from today. You are saving money from today. Means you can make a provision from today for that marriage function, so that at that time you can get money from this provision, from this saving money. So in the same way, in every business there are provisions for expenses. Which type of expenses? That are known for the business, that are fixed in a business, but the amount of losses is not fixed. So every business makes such type of provision for playing safe in the future. This is called prudence concept. Every future losses should be recorded, but every future gains should be ignored. This is for playing safe in the future. So this was your chapter related to accounting concepts or accounting conventions, and the main head of these 2 points is accounting principle. This chapter is very important because this contains all the theoretical part of the accounting. If you understand these concepts, these conventions, then easily or automatically you don't have any problem in solving the numerical questions. From next chapter, we will start some numerical questions. 3 chapters we discussed, that was only theoretical part of accounting. Let's discuss one or two questions related to this chapter so that it will be more clear for you. Yes, as I told you about one word that was generally accepted something, actually you will find one short form GAAP, that is GAP. GAAP. It means generally accepted accounting principles. This is the full form of GAAP. It can be asked in your exam of 1 marks. That what is the full form of GAAP? It is generally accepted accounting principles. It was first question. Now just think for 1 minute. My second question. Proprietor of the business is treated as creditor to the extent of his capital under which concept? What is the question? That proprietor of the business means owner of the business is treated as creditor to the extent of his capital. Means when in the starting of the business he is investing capital in his business, and that capital is invested by another person, and that another person is owner. So the proprietor is considered as a creditor for the business. So this statement is according to which concept? Think for 1 minute. This statement is according to business entity concept. What was our business entity concept? That a business and a businessman has separate entity. Both are separate. If businessman is investing money in the business, so that is liability for the business. If businessman is withdrawing money from the business for his personal uses, so that is asset for the business. So ever remind this point that a business and a businessman has separate entity according to business entity concept. Okay. Next question. Under which principle the quality of the management is not disclosed in the balance sheet? The question I am repeating again, that under which principle the quality of the management is not disclosed in the balance sheet or in the books of accounts? Think for 1 minute this answer also. Quality of management is not disclosed. I think everybody got the answer. This is according to money measurement concept. As I told you that quality of management cannot be measured in terms of money. So we cannot show this in books of accounts. The next point, I think now you can tell the answer. Which accounting principle states that all anticipated losses should be recorded but all anticipated profits should be ignored? Which accounting principle states this statement that all anticipated losses should be recorded but all anticipated profits should be ignored? This is the convention of conservatism or prudence, as we discussed just recently, that all anticipated losses should be recorded but all anticipated gains should be ignored. Next question is, why the full cost of an asset is not treated as an expense in the year of its purchase? Means when you purchase an asset, so why the full cost of an asset is not treated as an expense in the year of its purchase? Like in the current year, if you are purchasing a building of rupees 10 lakh, so why you don't consider the full 10 lakh rupees as an expense only in 1 year? This is because of going concern concept. Because you are purchasing the asset and you know that your business will continue for a long time. So what is the estimated life of your asset? Suppose that if the estimated life of your asset is 5 years, so you will treat that expense, you will divide that expense into 5 years. Like I told you that building is of rupees 10 lakh and estimated life is 5 years. Then per year expense will be 10 lakh divided by 5 means 2 lakh. This is according to going concern concept. Next question. Goods withdrawn by the proprietor for his personal use has not been recorded in the books of accounts. Which accounting concept has been violated? Means proprietor, the owner, has withdrawn some goods from the business for his personal use, but it was not recorded in the books of accounts. So which accounting concept has been violated here? Means he was just thinking that I am the owner of the business, so why should I record this in the books of accounts? So he did not record the goods that he withdrew from the business. So which accounting concept is violated here? Means which accounting concept is not followed here? That is business entity concept. As I already told you twice or thrice that a business and businessman are separate. If businessman is withdrawing anything, it should be recorded in the books of account. So the businessman, the owner here, did not follow the business entity concept. So it was about the chapter number 3, accounting principles. By my side, this chapter is completed. In next video, we will start chapter number 4. I have completed 3 chapters, but still I did not get any doubt from you. So I request to all students, try to take serious to your study and give full time to your study. If you have any doubt, ask me anytime. In next video, we will start next chapter. That's all for today. Thank you so much.